Today, we will be talking about a topic that is quite often discussed at interviews in explaining the difference of a GM and that of a PMO or a delivery manager. Because some of the aspects of this role or the complexity of this role actually intertwine in very many elements. But I was trying to build a simplistic way of helping someone realize what's the difference in upscale in terms of a GM or as opposed to a PMO or delivery manager or even project manager. So from a portfolio perspective, you can think of the GM or the regional head having multiple geographies or regions that they manage in their portfolio. And when you talk about the programs from each portfolio or from each geography, I'm inviting you to look into business units or LoBs or business verticals. Now, to tailor this from my own experience, when looking into projects, most of my projects fall into three different buckets, regardless of what is the industry or a company type that I have joined. And what do I mean by this? I'm usually either called in for a greenfield investment or for a turnaround. So one is more of a happier situation in which we're thinking of joining into the journey of entering a new market or going into a different geography or new geography or expanding the business delivery that we do. And the other one is a bit more, I would say, messy because the turnaround part implies that I get parachuted into a situation of crisis. And eventually, after we pull out from the greenfield phase or turnaround phase, we moved into the transformation phase. So, from a GM perspective, most of my projects transition between turnaround, transformation, and greenfield. And besides having the delivery responsibility, a couple of additions as a GM is the P&L responsibility, the account management responsibility, which means that you are doing the client governance. And in fact, you're also joining the sales team by having commercial responsibility. Because as a GM, if you don't grow your geography, you're just going to be falling behind and you will have less weight in what you're saying at the executive committee or the CEO table that you're sitting on. So growth is a constant part of your agenda. On top of that, it's the end-to-end strategy to implementation. And in fact, this is, I would say, the most strongest reason that actually companies working with me are emphasizing as a need when they're decided to work with someone or not. And in doing all this work, which is also the delivery, the P&L, the account management, the commercial responsibility, and the end-to-end implementation executive committee responsibility, you can think of blending in the best ITL methodologies, Kanban, Lean Six Sigma, Scrum, Prosci, Kotter. Think of RACI metrics, of crate logs, which are like mitigation plans. But what do they all have in common? Is not only that you must use them in delivery. When you're a general manager, you need to transfer these methodologies of work into HR, into finance, into procurement, into client management, into delivery, into sales. So these need to be like universal tools which you have to tailor for the success of that organization. What does this mean from a RACI perspective? From a RACI perspective, you're pretty discriminated as a GM because from an A perspective, which is accountable, you're the sole one over there. So your neck is in the line. I mean, of course, you can delegate and make someone from a racing matrix, the matrix, responsible and accountable over there. But at the end of the day, it's your signature that goes on any decision over there. So whether we're talking about a beta uplift, about cross-sell opportunities, about smooth delivery, about positive client sentiment, about solid account management, about mitigating cost, about mitigating client noise, you are the sole accountable over here. So this would be a difference as I see it, at least from my line of work, going from an advisor to an interim GM. And why is it more complex than from a PMO perspective or project management or just delivery manager perspective? I hope you find this useful in your further interviews and that it serves as a building tool for you to tailor based on your experience. Thank you.